Welcome to Breaking the Rabbit. This is my first video on YouTube. This channel is about my mental health journey and how I survived things that should have broken me. If any part of my story feels relatable, I hope it brings you some comfort. How it started. I was 11. We were sitting in the school auditorium during rehearsals for the half-yearly function. All the boys were in a circle, laughing and whispering about things on the internet, things none of us were supposed to know. I was the shy kid. Not innocent, just quiet. Curious like any 11-year-old. I had seen censored things on YouTube, glimpses and hints, but nothing more. That day, the curiosity became too loud. So I asked them directly, "Where do you watch all this?" They said, "Just Google it." That sentence stayed in my head like a seed. I wanted to try it, but I was terrified. I thought searching something like that would get me in trouble and my parents would somehow find out. That fear stopped me, at least for a while. Then came the 25th of December. There was a school fete. A friend came to my home early so we could go together. We played games on my iPad and then went to the fete. I won 2 plush toys. I was happy, not knowing what was waiting for me later. My friend came back with me because his mother was late. We were sitting in the living room, bored and waiting. Suddenly he said, "Why don't we search the same things on Google that we searched on YouTube?" That was the moment everything clicked. We typed a random website, a black screen, a thumbnail. We opened it. There were people doing things our 11-year-old minds could not process. We closed it within seconds, but those few seconds were enough. The helplessness. After that first exposure, life did not slow down. It got harder. I did not perform well in my half-yearly exams. And in my upper-middle-class family, that meant pressure. School ended, but the day did not. I went straight to tuitions, and when I finally came home, another tutor was already waiting. I barely got time to wash my face, eat a few bites, and jump into more studying. The scoldings were constant. Every mark, every mistake, every slip. My mind was already struggling. I had OCD, intrusive thoughts, fear, compulsions, pressure, fear, shame, and exhaustion all mixed together inside an 11-year-old mind. I needed a release. Something. Anything. That is when the cycle quietly began. Not for pleasure, but to shut my mind up for a few minutes. It worked, or I thought it did. I studied harder. I got better marks. I even won a medal. But I did not win anything. I paid for that success with something far more important, my freedom. The religious arc. This part is optional. If religion is not part of your life, you can skip ahead. But for me, it played a huge role. When you grow up religious, taboo things carry a different kind of weight. Not just shame, but fear. And I had OCD. So every thought got amplified. I loved my father deeply. He was sick most of my childhood. And OCD twisted that love into terror. It told me, if you watch this, God will punish you by making your father worse. You will lose the people you love. Suddenly, it was not just guilt. It was life or death fear inside a child. The cycle became darker, heavier, harder to escape. Self-erasure. When you mix guilt, fear, OCD, pressure, and secrecy, you do not just lose control, you slowly lose yourself. Every thought became an intrusive trap. Every action became a ritual. My agency collapsed. My sense of self slipped away quietly. By 13, I had learned a new pattern. Not just watching, but using the release to cope with the pressure that came after watching. A cycle inside a cycle. Sin, fear, compulsion, release, guilt, repeat. I could not control it anymore. It did not matter if I wanted to stop. It did not matter if I begged my mind for mercy. What I told myself would be temporary turned into a loop that lasted years. Whether I wanted it or not, it erased me from my own life. Coping. When life leaves us blind, love keeps us kind. Chester Bennington. Chester and Lincoln Park were more than music to me. They were the only voices that did not feel tone deaf or blind when I cried for help, and no one heard me. Breaking the habit, crawling, paper cut. They were not songs. They were escape routes. Eventually, I ended up in therapy, a psychiatrist, medication. But by then, a lot of damage had already been done. After years of fighting this cycle, I realized something important. OCD was always at the center. The whispers were brutal. Your father will die. You will lose the people you love. You will burn. Every step felt impossible. But here is something important. Not everyone who is struggling has OCD or any other condition. Your story might be different. If you are watching this video, it means you are tired of this loop. So let me ask you one question. Why do you want to stop? If you understand your why, you will start breaking the cycle, slowly, imperfectly, but surely. Because in the end, no one is coming to save you. You have to help yourself, and you can. Outro. Some of you watching might be younger. You may not understand what a why is. I would not have understood it either. When you are young, it is simple. If I do not want a hamburger, I will not eat the hamburger. Case closed. But these cycles do not work like that. They trick you. They convince you that you do not have a choice. But you do. So my last message is simple. Get out of this trap as soon as you can. Because if you do not, it will eat you alive. It will take your agency, your confidence, your identity, your sense of self, piece by piece. If you do not believe me, you will understand in the next video. Peace.